Hey, everybody, welcome. My name is Michael Swisher. I'm with the Department of Human Services in the Child and Family Services Division. We actually put together a team of folks to come up with a series of workshops that we're doing online webinars. We typically do things out in the community, but we're unable to do that now. So we were looking for what are ways we can do. So we have a series of sessions that we put together. They are online. You can find them at websites. Well, you're here, so you probably found one. That's great. But you'll notice we have different ones on managing behaviors as well as taking care of yourselves. There's more to come. We will continue to be putting these up and sharing these out in the community. Please send us notes. Let us know what you find interesting and helpful. Let us know if there's things you would like to know about. We're happy to do that. That's why we're here. Today we're talking about providing structure and routines for our kids. Okay, I like the idea of routines. It's helping us stay sane. It helps our kids stay sane. So how can we do that in a way, and especially now, considering that we've been at this for a while, you may be looking around at how things are going and say, I don't quite like this. I'd like to fix this. Good, that's great. It's a good time to stop and say, what can we do differently? Let's help. Let's give you some ideas. I start with the idea of structure as a foundation for discipline. Discipline to me is about teaching. And so when you think about what do I want my children to be doing, how do I want them to act and to be in the world, starting with structure is a really helpful thing. Structure also gives them a strong sense of independence and autonomy and safety and security. They know what's coming next. They know what's expected of them. They know what they should be doing, and they know what you're going to be asking. So that sort of predictability gives them a tremendous amount of safety. So having routines and structure can be really helpful for your kids. Also, the more structure you have in your homes and in your lives, the more you can rely on your kids to manage that for themselves. We put these together. We hope these are useful. We try and make them short, 20 minutes or so. So let us know. Okay, so let's go. Talking about structure. What is structure? When someone says have some structure in your home, I think of three things. One is routines and schedules. We'll get more on that. Two is organizing the space and the stuff in your home. We have a webinar on that. And we also have one kind of, those are a 2-for-1, expectations and limits, sort of you defining what it is what are the expectations you have for how we are together as a family. So today, as we said, we're talking about routines and schedules. As you think about structuring time, one of the places to start is with your kids and what really is feasible and possible. What is feasible and possible for you, but also thinking about your children. Are they able to independently do all sorts of things on their own? Or are they still learning how to do some of that thing? When you have a child who is taking on a specific chore or a task, or maybe dressing themselves at 2 or 3 years old, that may take some time. So as you think about building a routine, consider what are they able to do or not. It may take 10 minutes to put their clothes on. That's okay. We have time. It may take a 12-year-old 30 seconds if they actually put their clothes on. That's another story. So just keep in mind what is feasible for my child to do, what is realistic. So we'll talk a little bit about, but here are just some different examples of ways, and there are multitudes of these different routines. You can find them on Pinterest. If you look up child routines, you can find them that are themed, whatever can work for your child and your family. We also provide some blanks online if you find those, ways to build a routine as well as a blank routine that you can use. You can just use any piece of paper. It really doesn't matter. So how do we start? Well, when I do this in real life with real people in real time, we really think about, the days that we used to have where we were in school and kids were in school. So there's a morning routine, getting everybody out the door. There's that after school routine once everyone comes home, and then generally the evening after dinner. That's kind of how I break down the day. However, our world is way different now. We're looking at coming up with routines for all day long. And helping us to build that will help us maintain some of that sanity when we're together all day long, all night long, 24/7. I have my own work to do. My wife has hers. My kids have theirs. I've got 2 at home. I think I don't know that I mentioned, but I've got an 8th grader and I've got a college student who's home. So we all have our own work to do, but there's also other things in our lives that we could be and should be doing. So this list of all the things we're doing is a little bit different now. So step back And maybe this is a good starting place for your family. What are the things that are happening in your home? What are things you'd like to be happening in your home? We've got our academic time for kids in school. Distance learning is happening. Exercise, great things. Social time. One thing I've learned, especially with teenagers, is social time is hugely important. It's important for the little ones too. Build that into the routine. All of a sudden, you may see fewer fights because they're trying to connect with their friends. They've got other things we're asking to do. But if they know that X time a day, they'll have so much time to be chatting with their friends, you should see less fighting because they know that it's coming. They know it's there. Reading time, family time, chill and quiet time. There's chores and housekeeping. We're doing laundry, prepping food, and things like that. There's also chores that kids can be doing. Personal care, creative time. I'm big on finding opportunities to have place to be creative, whether it's music or drawing, dance, whatever. My son is into laying down beats, whatever it takes, but having an opportunity for some creative outlet. Worship, prayer, and meditation time. Whatever your faith culture, faith tradition, there's a word, whatever your faith tradition, whatever your spirituality, setting time aside. If these are things that are important for you, these are just general ideas. What is important in you and your home? Social time is so important. I put it in there twice. Meals, the other place. So really, as I think about how to start this with a family, this is a good first place that you sit down and say, let's family meeting. The routines we've put together kind of work and not quite. Let's do some fixing. So start with, what are the things we're doing? What are the things you want to be doing? This is where you give them an opportunity for the kids. Like, well, I want to be able to talk to my friends. Okay, great. Put it on the list. So you've got all that. And then you can decide, okay, now how are we going to put all this together? So one other note about this, that I think with this tremendous disruption we've had, our lives are turned upside down. It's very different. It's an opportunity to try new things. In my home, exercise has never been a big thing for us. We are doing exercise as a family. It's kind of fun. It's good because we push each other, but we're doing something new. It's a bonding experience, and we're getting a little better in shape. So try new activities. I mentioned creativity. Is there something you've always wanted to write, that great American novel, whatever? Now's the time. I'm going to set some time and I'm going to try and do some writing. So find that. So we have these beautiful routines, right? I'm sure people have seen this online. Jessica Haney, beautiful thing. And you just imagine the reality of it. We're going to wake up every day before 9, and we're going to go for a morning walk and do our academic time and have all this, and it'll just flow beautifully, right? Yeah. Then there's the reality. The kids actually get up and like, I want to get on the title. And then they're going to refuse to eat anything. Then they fight. They torture the dog. They beg for plate. So all of this sort of thing. Let's be realistic. We may have this dream of the Jessica Hale photography family. The reality is we are who we are. So recognize that having these expectations is really important. And I think starting with a routine and being able to loosen up around it, but have something and expect that it's not going to go perfect. You will need to transition into this. It's okay. So we've got figured out, so we've done step one, figuring out what our priorities are. We're taking a reality check. So let's think about, what sort of structure do you like in your home? Okay. Is it specific times? Do you like the Jessica Hale model where she's got blocks of time? Do you like time blocks, specific times, or lists? The example I've got here on the screen, it's broken down to half hour. That feels like it's highly structured. For some people, that works really, really well. I know a couple of military families that they really do thrive on this sort of structure. Okay. The Jessica Hale model was a little bit more loose. It was, there's an hour of block of time for things. And then others, there are people that have lists. Don't have that here. My son in particular, he works well with lists. He does not like the routine. He doesn't like the timing thing. He's 14. Just give me a list. And he knows that when he gets up and before he goes to bed, he's got these things he needs to take care of. What works for you? What works for your family? Don't try and be military if you're not military. Don't try and do that. I will say that, especially with little kids, having that degree of structure is really helpful. 2 and 3-year-olds, 30 minutes for a time block is a little much for a 2 or 3-year-old. 15 to 20 minutes is really all you're going to get. And I think you've probably realized this by now. So accept that this is a realistic expectation. What can I be doing? And expect that they're going to go for 20 minutes and then they need to be doing something else. If you build that in, you step into that realizing it, then it will make your life hopefully a little easier. In our own home, we're not big on schedule. We don't like routines, but I do find I've learned, especially after the first few weeks, I do need to get up in the morning. If not, I'm hitting the snooze button way too many times, staying up too late. So have at least something. So whatever works for you and your family, though, figure that out, decide on it, and then do it. The more, what else? Oh, last thing I'll say about routines is they're helpful. It's good to know them. It's even better if you can post them, especially when you got smaller kids. Having something up, there's the family, but then there's each individual child and person. This is their routine. This is what they need, and this is what they will. That way, when you've got someone who's off running off in a wrong direction, you can say, "Hey, Bobby Sue, what are you supposed to be doing right now? Billy Joe, what are you supposed to be doing right now?" And let's take a look. Hey, Juan, what is it you're supposed to be doing right now? What's your schedule say? So that all of a sudden you're not nagging as much as reminding and pointing them in the direction of what's hanging on the refrigerator. So try that out and recognize that smaller kids, while they may not be able to have a written routine, you can still have pictures. And once they know what that picture means, of course, toothbrushing, combing hair, putting clothes on, making my bed, those sort of things, they will learn it. And even kids as small as 18 months can build and step into a routine, and then they will come to anticipate what comes next. They will be able to do this on your own. You will be able to step back from that a little bit. You could say, what comes after brushing your teeth? Excellent. Look at what you're doing. You're a big girl now. You're a big boy now. That gives us that sort of freedom as well. And you're building strong, responsible, independent, and autonomous children. Congratulations. So, your turn. Now it's your turn to do this. If you look on our website, you can see that you'll find this blank routine and you'll find a routine builder. It kind of helps you break down what are those things that you're doing in your home at those specific times or those general times, blocks of time. We wish you well with this. I really encourage you to really think about these sort of steps of getting there. Deciding what your priorities are. What are the primary activities you're doing at home? What level of structure do you like it looser or you like it tighter? If you're not clear, start tighter and then allow yourself to loosen up. It is really hard to go from loose to tight. Now would be if you find that now you really want to do a reset though, it's good. Have a meeting and say, all right, let's run through these steps. Who comes up with this? That's that next step. All of you. It's the mom or the dad, the adults in the room, the parents, whoever's raising the kids in the home. All of you are responsible, but we are the drivers. Okay, we're driving the train here. So bring everybody together. What are the things we want? How we want to do it? How do we want to set our structure up? But if the more you can have everyone participating in that, the more buy-in you will have from everyone. And then how do you get it going? Well, once you've had this conversation, you go back and you create them and put it down on paper, hang it up and say, all right, let's get going. So, all right, let's get going. There's our information. If you want to know more, send emails. You can also check, like I said, check out on our website. You can find all the information from this one, the slides from this. You can also find other webinars that we've done and sessions we've done and more that are coming. We wish you the best. We're all in this together and we can do this. Thanks.